Hello viewers, this is Wolf here. Welcome to Wolf's Haven and to some more Monster Hunter reviews. Today, we're going to be taking a look at something a bit different. We're going to be taking a look at these Monster Hunter art frames that were put out to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Monster Hunter. You probably remember some of this artwork prior to Monster Hunter Wild's reveal, when they showed a bunch of hunters throughout the different generations of the Monster Hunter games, wearing the various different armors from each respective game, and then they also had another one where it showed all of the various flagship monsters going throughout the different generations of the games as well. So that's what these are. Capcom actually put them into physical frame form so that people can collect, and I decided to pick up both of them. So we're going to be taking a look at these art frames and see what they look like to try to celebrate the anniversary, even though it is a little bit late, but we're going to take a look at this. So I think the first one we're going to look at is actually the Hunter one. So I did open these up a little bit earlier just to try to take off. There was a protective film they had on this, which kind of made the visuals of the frame a little bit harder to see in the camera. But as you can see here, we have this artwork here of all of the various hunters. And this is just such a cool looking art piece here. Like, I love the fact that we have this sunset aesthetic here. The clouds in the background, and then of course we have all of the various hunters from the different games going all throughout the different generations, and you can just you can tell which games each hunter is supposed to represent just based off of their armor. You can clearly tell that this hunter here is representing Iceborne because they're clearly wearing Velkhana armor, wielding a Velkhana greatsword. This one obviously wearing Magnamalo armor and whatnot. So it was very cool to kind of see this and how they celebrated the whole anniversary. Like, I do like there's a bit of a holographic effect on this frame here, which does look really cool. I do like how the palico is kind of almost front and center here, but I do like how there's like this bright holographic orange effect as it kind of goes out towards the distance, towards the bottom here. And of course we have the Monster Hunter 20th anniversary at the top there, sporting all the various different weapons. So this is really cool. So we're going to take a look at the monster one now, which this one I think is definitely going to be my favorite. So here we have the monster collection of all of the flagship monsters throughout the series. And this just looks stunning. This is such a good piece here. And yeah, you can just see all of the various different monsters throughout the generations here. If we want to go one by one, I believe this monster in the background here is Kushaladora, right down there. Some of them might be a little bit hard to see. This almost looks like Rathian from down there. That's clearly Tigrex right next to Kushala. And then I believe this is Lagiacaris right up here. Right next to that, there is Brachydios. And I do see Glavenus. I'm pretty sure that's Glavenus down there. We can see Zinogre right up here. And then there's another monster. I wonder if this is supposed to be like Azure Rathalos or Silver Rathalos up in the air here. It's kind of hard to make out, but it definitely does look like one of the Rathalos monsters. So I would have to assume it's one of the subspecies. Which actually, you know what? It might make sense that it's Azure Rathalos, because I think Azure Rathalos was the flagship for Monster Hunter 3U, if I'm not mistaken. And then we of course have Nergigante right here. Then we have Magnamalo right next to him. There is Velkhana at the very top here representing Iceborne. We have Valstrax all the way up here looking pretty cool. I believe this is supposed to be Seregios right next to Valstrax. And then we do have Malzeno right here. And then of course we have our series icon Rathalos right here front and center. And this is just a magnificent piece. Again, it has that holographic effect on it with that nice sunset effect going all the way down the bottom and the distance there with the clouds at the top. Very beautiful scenery. And this just looks stunning. This is easily my favorite of the two frames. Just because, honestly, I feel like the monsters definitely mean a bit more to me compared to the hunters. Like, the monsters are kind of what makes the series what it is. Right? So the monsters are very special, very cool personalities, abilities, and designs, and this is just another thing that I find very cool about having all of the flagships here all together, because you can definitely see the radical difference in art direction and just the change in style going through all the different generations when you line these up. Like, when you look at something like Rathalos, or even, you know, Tigrex or Kushala, and compare that to something from Rise, like a Magnamalo or anything like that, or a Malzeno, like, the difference in art style is very, very distinct and very drastic. So it is kind of cool to just compare that and just see how the design of these monsters have really changed and become quite radically different over the years. Even, you know, Valstrax is a pretty significantly different monster compared to everything else. Like the concept of it having basically being like a jet plane, you know, combining a jet plane with a monster. That is just really cool. And yeah, like, this is just such a cool scene here. So yeah, this is easily my favorite out of the 2 frames. And yeah, as far as I'm aware, I believe that I don't think that these frames are available anymore. If you can get them, and you really do want to get some of these frames here to kind of put in the background somewhere, if you can find them, I do recommend getting them if you can, because these pieces are very cool, very stunning looking artwork. And the other thing that I like about them too is that there's different ways that you can display them. So if we take a look to the back, one of the things at the back here is that I believe it is signatured by the artist. But the other thing too is that there's different ways that you can display these. So you can actually completely disassemble these frames, and you can actually take these out. So right now it has this little hook, and they do provide to you a string, which is right here. They do provide you with a string and some rods here. So you can choose how you want to display these. So, of course, with the string, you can use this to just kind of hang this up on a wall, or you can put the rods into the bottom to have the portrait sort of just stand up like this by itself. So you have different ways that you can display these, which I think is very cool. And honestly, this is such a cool way that they celebrated the 20th anniversary of Monster Hunter. They definitely did some weird things during this whole celebration. I mean, there was that whole Zoids crossover where we had Magnamalo and Rathalos in Zoids form, which I do have those. I haven't assembled them yet, but that was such a out of the nowhere, like out of the blue collaboration. And they also had the Transformers one as well, where I think it was Silver Rathalos. I think it was like Silver Rathalos Megatron or something like that. A lot of very weird stuff, but we ended up getting Fatalis as well as a massive statue. So they definitely did some really cool stuff celebrating the 20th anniversary, and these frames is a nice way to kind of cap everything off. So with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys found it informative. There's definitely going to be a lot more Monster Hunter figures, collectibles, and content coming in the future. So I hope you guys stay tuned for all of that. But until then, I hope you guys have a good day or good night, depending on where you are, and I will see you all later.